but not that many people today, so should be okay. Leah, can you see the screen, the PowerPoint?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Let's see. We still have someone joining, so give me 10 seconds. Everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us today. And my name is Leon from Admissions Office, and today we have a special guest. Leah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Leah. I am currently a graduate student here at APU, but I'm actually a graduate of the undergrad program at APU as well. So I did my 4 years in the College of Asia Pacific Studies, and now I'm doing my master's degree in the Graduate School of Asia Pacific Studies. So we're looking forward to introducing APU to everyone today.
Thank you so much, Leah. So everyone, please do not hesitate to ask Leah any questions about student life and academic the things, because we don't charge, it's free. Okay, so before I start the presentation, I just want to let you guys know, after the presentation, we do have a Q&A session time, and right below you can see there's a Q&A box, right? Don't type your question in the chat box, please. Type it in the Q&A, and Leah and I will try to answer all the questions by the end of the session today. Okay, so can you guys all see the PowerPoint? Give me a thumb if you can see it. Yeah. Okay, so I assume that you guys all know who are we. Okay, so what happened? Sorry. Okay, so we are Ritsumeikan Asia Pacific University, but please call us APU. Okay, go short, APU. We call ourselves APU, and later the students, they call the school APU, and don't call us like APU. We don't really like it, especially during the interview. So we have a sister school, which is located in Kyoto. And the name's very similar. It's called the Ritsumeikan University. So that's why we usually goes by APU. And one thing about Leah is Leah even went to Ritsumeikan High School in Hokkaido, right?
Yes. So there's a lot of Ritsumeikan schools all around Japan.
Yeah.
And APU is probably the most diverse school of them all.
So. Is that how you find out about APU?
Yes, a lot of my friends from high school ended up coming to APU, and that's kind of how I found out. And a few of them asked me if I wanted to apply as well, and I happened to be accepted. So.
And sorry, let me see. Okay, where are we located? I'm sure most of you are very familiar with Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, the big city in Japan. So where are we located? We are located a little bit southern, western part of Japan. We are located in Kyushu Island, and it's about 1.5 hours away from Tokyo by flight, and to Osaka or Kyoto maybe 3-4 hours by train, by the bullet train. And we are located in a very nice city, a town called the Bamboo City in Oita Prefecture. And it's a little bit remote area. And we have about 120,000 population. But don't worry, we have everything you need, okay? We do have Starbucks, okay? We do have yeah. And Leah's a favorite spot, right? The Starbucks.
Yeah,
to be honest, I've never been to the Starbucks, but I know the Starbucks at Bamboo is very pretty. Can you tell us a little bit why you really like Starbucks?
Okay, so the Starbucks is in Beppu. First of all, the locations are really nice. One of them is right by the bus in the center of the town, and the other one is near the city park. So both are very, very nice nicely placed. But I think the best place is because all the APU students kind of go there to study. So whenever you go, you like see your classmates or like your friends just sitting there studying. And it's a very nice like environment to just study and have like a chat with your friends if you don't necessarily want to go up to campus every single day.
That is very nice to know. And now, again, we have everything you need. Okay, we have Wi-Fi, we have the mall, like the furniture store, the grocery. So don't worry about like, oh, you need something that you cannot have in Bamboo. The reason why I try to emphasize that is like, please, if you come to APU, please do not bring a lot of stuff, because like after the first semester you have to move out, which is, we don't encourage students to bring a lot of belongings to Japan. And Bamboo is a little bit very Japanese traditional town to me, but at the same time, it's very international environment. I think the main reason will be because APU, we have like 6,000 students in total, and about 3,000 of them, they are from everywhere, about like 90 something countries. And so the local people, they're very comfortable with the foreigners, even they don't speak any English, they are very nice to the foreigners. And one more thing about Bamboo is the hot spring. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard about the word like hot spring, like the onsen. Bamboo is definitely, I would say, I personally think is the number one, the hot spring town in not just in Japan, but probably in the world. So, and that's the reason we have so many tourists from all over the world, and also the Japan domestic tourists. And Leah, do you like onsen, hot spring?
Yeah, I love onsen.
Yeah.
In Beppu, you can get this like onsen passport is what it's
yes,
called.
yes.
And if you go to the specific onsens, you'll get a stamp.
Yes.
And if you get all the stamps, you get like, I think like a 2,000 yen coupon or something.
Yeah.
I haven't actually finished it. I kind of always forget to bring it. But yeah, I have another 2 years left, so I can maybe next
Definitely,
time I'll bring it.
Yeah, onsen is so famous here. And the funny things, okay, like when I ask like all my students, what do they miss after they left Bamboo, they never told me like, oh, I miss the professor. I never heard one told me. They told me always like, oh, I miss the onsen, especially after the one whole day, so tired, you really want to go to onsen. And the thing is, if you compare to Tokyo, the price in Bamboo for onsen is very cheap. It's about like 100 yen, like 100 Japanese yen or 200 Japanese yen, and you can enjoy really like comfortable bath by the end of the day, And everyone, look at this picture. There's no Photoshop, untouched. Okay, this is a real campus. How beautiful is it? And yes, we are located on the top of the mountain. Okay, and like what motivates me to come to work every day is like every day in the morning when I come to work, I feel like I'm standing on the top of the world. Look at the view. This view is like what $1 million view, and here is very important. Can you guys all see the buildings here? My mouse. This is the, I should be careful about the word. On campus housing, it's called the AP House. AP House 1 and AP House 2. Okay, so all the first year international student, you will have to move into the AP House 1 and 2. And Leah, do you still remember your AP House day?
Yes, I used to be in AP House 2. And I just remember having a lot of like dinners and like just cookouts with everybody on my floor. So we had people from Bangladesh and people from like, where was it? Even like the Netherlands, America, places like Sri Lanka, and we'd all come together in the kitchen and everybody would make something from our hometown or like our home country and then share it with everybody. So not even like, not just in class, but like outside of class, there's like a lot of places where you can just, get to know people from different countries and kind of get to know different cultures. So that it was very, very memorable for me as well.
And that's probably the main reason why we strongly encourage all the first year students to live at AP House, so you can meet some friends, and I'm sure like I heard from students, usually the people you you meet during at the AP house will be your lifetime friends. Is that the word? So you know it's very important. And I'm Lei, are you on campus today?
No, I'm at
No?
home
Oh,
today.
okay. So actually I'm sitting right here. You see, right this tiny spot. That's my, and this is kind of logo, like the Twin Towers for APU.
I have them in my background.
And I have a good news to share with all of you. Okay. There will be a new AP house. Okay. I don't know the name. Probably it won't be AP house 3 or 4, but it's around here. And also we will have a new college by 2023. So if you guys come to APU next year, then you will have a chance to see the new campus, the new AP house and the new college. And for the AP house, I would go a little bit further, like explain a little bit more later on. So campus, why students like Leia, like all of your interest in APU? I'm sure because of diversified environment, you know, like we have about, like I said, like 6,000 students, and 50% of course Japanese domestic, and 50% will be international students. But we are not just diversified in nationality. Okay. APU, we are just like 21 years young, you know, we are very young. And but since day one, day zero, APU is designed or like programmed as an international school. Okay, that separates us from other university in Japan, because most university in Japan, international student would be separate from Japan domestic part. For example, sometimes they will live on different campus. They will have a different program, but APU no. The only difference would be the admission procedure. So Japanese domestic student, international student, after they come to APU, they will live at the same AP house. Okay, and the program curriculum is all the same, basically, besides the language. And not just our students, our faculty, professors, they are very international. So that makes, I would say, a very good environment for all the international students. And Leah, tell me, what do you like about the environment about APU?
I think the biggest thing that I like is the openness of the students. I think because everybody, or at least from the international faculty, everybody is coming to a different country and everybody's trying to kind of like set up their life here. And everybody's very, very open-minded. So you can have a lot of discussions about different topics that like happen around the world in the classroom. And it's kind of a safe space where everybody can just like exchange different ideas, and everybody can see where like maybe certain views come from that like you might not know about because you come from like a different area. So I think that's, for me personally, is the best part about APU, is just everybody's so different, and it's just very nice.
Yeah, that's just like Leah said. Like again, we are not just diversifying nationality. Like we have students like with different religious and also like different financial background. I think that's very important, because I do have students, you know, living the fancy life. They go into like the expensive sushi restaurant every night. You know, I have students, they have to do the part-time to make the living. So during 4 years, if you come to APU during these 4 years, you're gonna learn, you know, you're gonna be open-minded. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for the student to stay here. And I'll continue. For APU, it's very easy. At this moment, as 2021, 2022, we only have 2 colleges, okay? The first one is APM, which stands for College of International Management, which is a business school. And right here, can you guys see this accreditation? AACSB, I'm so proud of it, because, okay, only 5% of the business school, undergraduate business school, not just in Japan, in the world, has this accreditation. Okay, and I believe we are the number 3 university in Japan to be honored to receive this accreditation. And all the student, you will have to choose a college when you apply. for example, Leah is like APS, and she definitely will go a little bit more, explain a little bit more about APS. And here's the field you can choose to emphasize, like major in. Okay. Oh, sorry. And I want to move this bar a little bit because very important. Classes offered in both English and Japanese. Okay, I will explain a little bit in detail what's that mean. As I just said, like we don't separate Japanese with international students. Okay, so once you come to APU international student and you have passed, like for example, Japanese intermediate level or higher level, then you have the option to choose the classes taught in Japanese. Okay, for example, like accounting 101, you can register for English or Japanese. Okay, both fulfill the same requirement. Same thing apply for the APS. Oh, Leah, do you want to add on something about APM?
I personally haven't taken any APM classes.
Oh,
I don't.
Hey, that's very good things I want to point out again. I want to say that APU, we have a very flexible class registration, like the curriculum, the syllabus. So many students, by the time they graduate, for example, Leah is APS, right? Maybe some student, APS student, they will have a lot of credit from APM. So as long as you can fulfill all the requirement and schedule do the time management, then it's really up to the student if they only want to focus at APM or APS. So this is very good for international student, I think. And let me go to the next one. APS, Leah, please.
Okay, so I'm talking about APS, which is the College of Asia Pacific Studies, which is the one I graduated from. And in this college, there's 4 different classes you can take, which is either Culture, Society, and Media, which I graduated from, then Environment and Development, Hospitality and Tourism, and the International Relations and Peace Studies cluster. And I think the tourism field is actually UNWTO certified, which is great. I think APU is even, was it the 2023 is the one that APU is thinking about of turning the tourism.
Yes.
Thing.
And
yeah, no, tourism
we're going to have a new college about hospitality and tourism.
Yes.
More like the official information will be announced very soon. I'm so excited about it.
Yes, and both classes are obviously taught in English and Japanese. So that's great. You don't see that a lot in Japanese universities from what I've seen. It's either certain courses are only in English or only in Japanese. So at APU, you can choose whichever language you prefer and go with that. I also want to say that, especially in the tourism and hospitality field, a lot of the professors have on-field knowledge of what they're teaching. And not just in tourism and hospitality, most of the professors at APU have like previous job experiences in the topics they're teaching. So a lot of the times they will use real life case studies or things they personally worked on to teach their courses. And I think that's very, very interesting because like it's one thing to learn from a textbook and another to learn from reality. So I think that whatever is taught at APU is always like very, it's easy to like pick up and understand.
Thanks so much, Leah. Everyone, if you have any questions, please wait until we finish the presentation. And Leah, just wondering, have you ever taken any Japanese classes? I mean, like the major classes in Japanese?
I have. I was kind of worried about my GPA, so I didn't like take hard classes, but I definitely have taken a few in Japanese, and it's a great way to just like meet Japanese students as well, get to make friends.
But again, just like Leah just mentioned, it's optional. So you don't have to do it, okay? And we also have other programs, exchange for of course. And also we do have a dual degree, okay? It's a little bit different from exchange. Like dual degrees, we have like 3 partners university in the world. I think 2 of them in Europe, 1 in United States, in the state. And you're gonna spend like 2 years at APU and 2 years at another country. And by the time you graduate, you're going to have 2 degrees. Okay. But we don't encourage all the students to do it because keep in mind that you're going to spend only like 2 years in Japan, which shorten the time for you to learn the Japanese culture or the Japanese languages. But if you are interested, go to our website and you can get more information. Okay, Japanese, very important. I need to spend a little bit more time here. Okay, so Japanese is mandatory for all the first, at least first semester students. Okay, so all students, doesn't matter domestic or international student, when you apply for APU, you can apply as a English basis medium or the Japanese medium. Okay, so because we do have some international students, they are already fluent in Japanese, so they can apply as a Japanese. So it's really up to you. It doesn't really change like the evaluation. Okay, but most our international students, they come to APU as an English basis. Okay, so during the orientation, you will have to do a what's that called, placement test, and they will assign you to the right level, like the Japanese level for you, the classes. And again, it's mandatory. Okay, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Japanese classes are very intensive, very, very intensive. Okay, like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, morning to night, every day Japanese. And Leia, do you still remember the Japanese classes?
I definitely remember my friends taking them. Yeah, they're a lot. I'd say that way.
And
but people learn Japanese so quickly.
yeah,
It's amazing, really.
and one of the reasons why we try to like provide such intensive classes is because after the first year, all the students have to move out, move out from the campus. You guys all need to move into the Bamboo downtown. So you will have to need some like conversational, like Japanese skill in order to survive. And also because most of you are so young, it's the best time to learn the languages. And keep in mind that in order to graduate from APU, for all the English basis students, you will have to pass at least intermediate level Japanese. Okay, it's compulsory. And same thing apply to domestic or the Japanese basis student. If you apply as a Japanese medium students, then you will have to pass the English. So same thing. So we don't separate like student. So by the time you graduate from APU, it doesn't matter what nationality are you. English, Japanese is a must. Okay, and of course, APU student, they are not only satisfied for 2 languages. So we do have a lot of other languages. And one thing, keep in mind that besides Spanish, okay, all other languages classes are taught in teaching in Japanese. So you will have to pass at least like Japanese intermediate level to understand what the professor is teaching. And Leia, I know you have taken so many different like the Korean, like Spanish, maybe.
Yes, I took Spanish.
Yeah, tell us about how do you like it? How do you like it?
It's very interesting. I've only taken Korean 1 and Spanish 1, so I've never gone beyond that, unfortunately. But it's very fun, first of all, because I feel like everything at APU is very like geared towards either learning English or learning Japanese. And it's interesting to just like go out and like try a different language, maybe even something that like before COVID, like you could like travel there, like try it out for yourself. That was my main reason for studying Korean 1, is because I was traveling to South Korea and I was like, oh, I kind of want to like at least ask for the price. That was my main motivator. But I actually got to know like the TA, the teaching assistant that was there. And she like, we got pretty close, and you have like a cooking class as well, at least before COVID. Now it's all online. So it's a little more like divided than it was before, but you can definitely get a good interest in the language. And for me, Spanish as well, I never thought I'd learn it, but now like even online, it worked really well. And I can understand tidbits of the language now. It's really fun. A lot of people swear in those courses. A lot of my friends learned Chinese through those courses. So definitely recommend if you do
Mm.
finish the Japanese level.
Yeah, I forgot. Was you like who? Someone told me like don't take like for example Japanese and Korean or Chinese the
Oh yeah,
same
that
time.
was me.
Because you're gonna get confused.
Yes,
So
definitely.
I think Spanish with Japanese or Spanish with Chinese, that's okay, right?
Yeah.
But don't mix like two like Asian languages together. I think I heard from other students as well. Yeah. So again, for all the first year student, we strongly encourage you to focus on Japanese only because it's very important.
I think especially if you're living at AP House in your first year anyways, learning Japanese is such like a good experience because all your floor mates will also be, half of the floor mates will be Japanese. So you can make friends while you try and study the language. And they want to try and learn English. So you can like, it's like a give and take.
Yeah, that's exactly like Leah just mentioned. Okay, so we don't separate students. Okay, domestic, international student all go to AP House 1 and 2 during their first year. The only difference is only international students are guaranteed for room. Some domestic like Japanese because we don't have enough room for everybody. So it's not guaranteed for all domestic, but at APS it will be 50% international student, 50% like domestic, the Japanese students. Okay. I personally think our students, APU students, tend to be super active. That's how I feel, if you compare to other schools in Japan, especially in Japan. Of course, like some of them are very academic focused, but most our students, they are very like active. And so we do have a lot of events. We do have like 110 clubs or activities. And even if we don't have that, what's that called? The circles that, you are interested, we always encourage our students to just create one. We're going to support you, create one, because there must be someone on the campus share the same interest. And Leah, what circles or clubs do you join?
I actually never ended up joining a circle because I wanted to join the volleyball circle, but the times didn't really match. But I did join a campus event, which was Fashion Week back in 2019, I think. And that was a very fun experience because you get to like manage the build of an event.
I see.
Yes.
Leah just said we do have a lot of event. Most like for example, if you guys follow us on the Instagram or Facebook, you can see we do have the Tenkusai, which is a Sky like campus festival, which just happened on last Sunday. Unfortunately because of COVID pandemic, like it would be online, but we still managed to arrange that online, and it was really good. I really like it, and to be honest, I cannot wait to see everybody come back on campus, like to have the physical the things. And multicultural week, probably the biggest event for APU. It become a tradition for APU. So each week, for example, India or Korea, China, Taiwan, the student will kind of like promote their culture or the food and the thing. And I think for recently, like I'm pretty sure Korean week will be the biggest event. I still remember like 2 years ago, I saw maybe 200, 300 students gathering on the campus just to watch the K-pop dance, and it was really fun.
Yes.
Yeah. And also you can try a lot of like the different food cuisine from different countries. It was really fun. And I hope like next year, everything will be back to
I hope so
normal.
too.
Yeah. So also exchange program. So we are partnered with like 42 countries. Okay. And we have like about 142 different university partner with APU. But you cannot choose your hometown. Okay. For example, Leia, you cannot choose like exchange back to Germany. And to be honest, I don't see the reason. Why would you do it? Yeah. So also internship and the field studies. Leia, have you done any field studies?
I went on a field study with the tourism department once. I think it was one of those like, was it? It was the rice farming one. I don't know if that counts as like a field study.
In
Um,
Japan or
in Japan, yes, it was. I
oh
think
in
it was in
Japan?
APU. Yes.
Oh, but everybody, like our field studies, we sometimes really depends on the professor. Sometimes we be overseas. So if you're interested in this kind of activity, please, once you come to APU, you can search on the campus terminal. Like you will get more information about that. AP House. Okay, I'm explaining a little bit more details here. Okay, so AP House, one or two. We do have 4 AP House currently, but only 1 and 2 is on campus, and they are for only undergraduate student. Okay, so it's only guaranteed for the freshman, the first year. So after the first year, you have to move out. Okay, and I think most student they would like to move out after the first year now, and it's about 49,000 Japanese yen, which is about like 420-30 US dollars per month. That's including all the utilities and Wi-Fi. Okay, don't worry, we do have Wi-Fi now. Okay, I think when you came, Wi-Fi was a little bit.
Yes, I had to buy my own router.
So hey, lucky of you. Okay, all of
Yes.
you guys so lucky.
I'm
So
very
we have
jealous.
yes, very stable Wi-Fi. And the reason why the Wi-Fi sometimes is not that stable because we are really located on the top of the mountain. I think that's the reason. And normally we do have a single or the share rooms. Okay, but majority of the room will be single, and the share room is like it's basically 2 rooms, and you have a slide. Like I don't know what's that called. Like you can close it, like
This
become a
is
2
letting
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be all for the share rooms. It would be always like one international student, one Japanese student. Okay, that's how we assign. But unfortunately, you cannot choose what type of room you want. Okay, but during this like COVID pandemic, like basically all the room is like single because for the share rooms, like we block it. So basically now all the rooms are single. Leah, were you in the share or the single room?
I was in a single room. So I only had friends who were in the bigger rooms. So the shared rooms are actually pretty big because they don't have a sink or bathroom. But the smaller rooms do have bathrooms. So when I was at AP House, I could choose which one I wanted, and I'm very shy, so I'd rather not like meet someone new.
So
So I got the single room.
Leah, thank you so much for reminding me. Okay, what's the difference? Like Leah just said, single room, you come with the sink and toilet. Okay, but for the share room, you have a lot more space.
Yes,
And trust
it's
me,
really big.
you will need it after maybe you stay like after you came to Japan for 3 months, you're gonna buy a lot of stuff.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. So but again, at this moment, basically all the rooms are single. Okay, and from second years you will have to move out. Okay, but don't worry, like I'm pretty sure like after the first year you're gonna meet a lot of like the senior students, or like you're gonna make some friends with the people stay the same AP house. So it's not difficult to find apartment in Babu, and we do have an office. The Creotech is really helping the students like looking for the apartment. But I understand, I know that most students will prefer to look for the apartment by themselves, because usually like like our office recommend that, how to say, the apartment that our office recommended will be a little bit pricey. So Leah, how did you find your first apartment?
Actually, I moved in with my boyfriend, so I didn't have to search for an apartment. He was about to go on exchange, and I took over the apartment, which is something that a lot of students do, is when they have a senior that is about to move out, and they take over the contract and they move in their stead. And a lot of my friends actually moved in with each other, so as roommates, so they could have a bigger apartment for cheaper. Yeah, but Creotech is something that a lot of my friends who are living on their own or lived on their own kind of chose as an option.
Yeah,
So
and one thing, like you don't need to worry too much about like maybe in some big city in Japan, maybe some discrimination. They don't want to rent the apartment to foreigners because the language barrier. But in Bamboo, because again, people are very comfortable. Most, people, the local people, they are so comfortable with the foreigners. So there shouldn't be any problem for renting apartment. And usually I shouldn't say, it really depends on like what kind of apartment you want to rent. But for example, my friend, like he's paying 49,000 to a very decent house. So if you want to lower down the rent, definitely find a roommate or housemate. The price will be way cheaper than living on the AP house. Oh, right here, this is a kitchen. I think the public area, like Leah just mentioned, like probably all the student will just like socialize right here, right at the kitchen.
Yes. Oh, but I want to say in AP House, you do get your own fridge in your room. So you don't have to be worried about other students kind of taking your yogurt, for example.
Yeah.
It's all in your room. So the only thing you take out to the kitchen is your own like cooking appliances, and then you take it back to your room.
Leah, did it happen to you? Someone took someone no?
But I've heard so many stories from my friends and I was like, oh no. But
oh yes, thank you so much. And also like every room, like each room has the heater and cooler,
yes.
So you don't, and also the laundry, we have a coin laundry, the washer and the dryer at the AP house.
And there's an onsen, which is nice.
Oh yeah, that's very
you
nice.
can get used to going to onsen. Because I know for me personally, when I first went to an onsen in Europe, you don't really go out naked with your friends. So that was very like weird to me at first. So it's nice that at AP House you can kind of ease your way into it and then go out into the real world.
Practice.
Practice.
Yeah, I still remember my first time went to the onsen. Like I felt so uncomfortable,
Yes.
But they don't allow. You have to be really naked to go to the onsen. So
I thought I could go in my swimming suit, but
okay. Life in Bamboo, as I mentioned, they are the real like the AP student, but they all graduated, and you can see what they are holding a bowl and the towel. That's what all you need if you go to onsen. And pretty much I would say like there's a lot of things to do in Bamboo, and onsen would be definitely the major one, because I think most students they like it, because it's cheap. And part-time is very, very common in Japan. Almost all Japanese university students, they do part-time, okay? But for all the international students, you will need to have a working permit in order to do part-time, okay? But don't worry about it. Unlike like United States or some European countries, it's very easy to get a working permit, okay? I cannot say 100%, because the decision is made by the immigration. But so far, I have never heard any student got rejected for the working permit. I never. And how easy, like the procedure is so easy. Like upon you arrive at the airport in Japan, when you pass the immigration, you can already get your working permit. And just in case if you miss it or some reason you don't feel comfortable, to wait. When you come on campus, just go to our student office and you just need to fill a very simple form and you would can get the working permit. But very important, there's a limitation. Okay, so all students during the semester, you are allowed to work up to 28 hours per week, which is quite a lot. I understand you guys want to earn more money, but 28 hours per week during semester is quite a lot. And during the holiday, you can work up to like 40 hours per week. So basically full time, And for first semester, we really suggest students don't do too many part-time. Focus on your Japanese study. And the reason is, there's so many different kind of part-time, okay? But sometimes you really depends on your Japanese level. So I've one student, he got a job in the Oida, not even in Bamboo. The pay was pretty good, and the reason is because he speaks like quite decent Japanese and English and other languages. So first semester, please focus on Japanese, and it would be definitely benefit for your whole like state in Beppu. And you see right here, this is the APU student. Like I'm pretty sure they're working at the cafeteria, and usually about the hourly wage will be 822 per hour. Okay, very important. Career, 4 years is so quick, right, Leah? 4 years so quick.
So quick.
Yeah. So after you graduate, especially during your last semester, most students, Japanese student, not just in Japan, most student they do the job hunting during their last year or the last semester. It's very common, and our rate is dropped a little bit due to COVID to 90% like job placement rate. What 90% means is like for example, Leia, like she applied for the graduate school, so she didn't really looking for the job, so she was not like in that 90%. So for all the students who are actively looking for job during their last year, 90% of them, they got a job offer before they graduate. And we used to have a really high numbers like 97%, but due to the COVID pandemic, like the number dropped. And we used to have like, even last semester, we have like about 200 to 300 companies we come on campus to recruit. Okay, even during the COVID pandemic, like we managed to have the online recruiting, what's that called, the job fair things, and we do have a career office. Okay, people are very nice, and they will help you to prepare your Japanese resume and introduce your job and things like that. So why so many companies come on campus to recruit? What they're looking for? Language skill. Like how many languages do you speak? Like English,
3
Japanese?
fluently. So English, German, and Japanese.
Yes, and also like some student, maybe if you're from like some other like European countries or like Malaysian, speak so many different languages. So that's what the company, what they're looking for. And also international perspective, like because we have such like diversified campus, by the time you graduate, you're going to develop your own international perspective, so unique. And that's not the thing you can teach in the classroom. I personally think like, so I think that's the main reason why so many companies would like to hire APU students. And like they just like when attend the grad school now. So here just some example what the APU, the alumni, they end up at the big company or the good graduate school. Okay, very important. It's a little bit boring from here. Okay, but very, very important. Scholarship. I know all of you like, I want a scholarship, Okay, APU tuition reduction scholarship. This is the biggest amount and the easiest scholarship that you can apply for. Why? Because it lasts for 4 years. Okay, and of course, there would be a minimum GPA requirement, which is 1.5. It's very doable, right? Yeah, 1.5 at AP is very doable.
It's so doable. The
thank you.
maximum is 4.0, so you really shouldn't be going anywhere close to 2 at all.
Yeah. So the only reason, okay, you lost your scholarships because you skip all classes. That's no good. Okay. So again, the scholarship comes from 30, 50, 65, 80, all the way to 100%, and it lasts for 4 years. Okay, and there will be no any additional document or paperwork. All you need to do is in your application, just check the box. When you apply, there will be additional like the scholarship, like the essay question. We terminate that. So now So now just check the box. The only difference will be you will have an online interview. Okay, I will go explain a little bit more like later. And keep in mind that once the decision, the scholarship, like the offer, the amount decided, nothing can be changed. Okay, I have some student, maybe they feel like, I didn't do too well. For example, the student got like 30%. and he wants to come to APU. After he came to APU, he wants to get a better scholarship offer. Like, so he studied so hard, do a lot of activities. Unfortunately, no. Okay, once the decision has been made, then you cannot change it. So please spend time. I'm going to explain a little bit like how I should do it here. So when we evaluate the student, the application, we don't just look at the grade. Of course, we're going to look at your high school transcript, and also your English proficiency exam, the score, and also your extracurricular activities, and also the online interview, okay? And also your application essays. Trust me, we do read your essays. We do, especially before the interview. So first, spend time, because you're gonna write there will be 4 like essay question in your application. It's very short. It's about like 150 words per each questions. And so my advice is like pin to the point. Like, don't spend like extra words to do the introduction. Pin to the point and tell us, for example, why APU, why APM. And also interview is so important. And I will explain like how you can prepare the interview. And right here, okay, results come together with APU application result. Okay, so there will be no additional paperwork or procedure to apply for the scholarship. And we do have a lot of external scholarship, okay, but majority of them will be after you come to APU, and they are super competitive. It's not easy, and usually there will be a short-term period of time, and also maybe a one-time payment only. And some of them, they require Japanese interview. Okay, so how much for APU? APU, we are a private school. Okay, keep in mind that. So the first year will be about like 1.3 million Japanese dollars, which is like 12,000 US dollars. If you compare to like school in Europe or in America, we still very like I think the tuition is very reasonable, and that's the reason why exchange or dual degree is so popular. Because if you do the exchange, you only pay for the APU tuition, but you can go to maybe Europe or United States to exchange for 1 or 2 semesters. And the second, third, and fourth year will be about 14,000, which is very similar. But so let's do the math here, okay? If you got 50% scholarship, every year you save 6,000 for your parents or for yourself, right? And you times that for 4, it's like $24,000, which is very good, right? So make sure you spend time on your application and prepare for the interview. And for most, if you are not native in English like me, or for Leia, like, because she was in an IB school, so she will be exempted. And some countries, like for example Singapore or Canada, some city in Canada, you will be exempted from the English proficiency exam. But most of you, like if English is not your native languages, please submit it. You have to take one, okay? And for some student, I understand like some of you maybe also applying for the school in United States. So probably you already have taken the SAT and other like exam. Please submit it. If you have a good score on SAT, please submit it, because it put a little bit more weight on your application. And all the numbers here, okay, keep in mind, very important. They are the minimum, okay, minimum. So it's not like, oh, I got this score and I'm gonna get accepted. No. And of course, the higher the better, And for IELTS and TOEFL IBT, you can do it at home, online. So it's 24/7. So I think it's very convenient for most of you during this like COVID like pandemic. And also, from this year, we also accept Duolingo. It's a very new exam system, but one thing difference, if you're gonna sit for the Duolingo, you will also need to submit an English proficiency evaluation form, like filled by your English teacher. You cannot just submit the Duolingo score, okay? So we usually recommend students to take this like traditional English exam. Oh, same thing. If just in case if today we have a Japanese like medium applicant, you will have to submit a Japanese like the proficiency exam score, for example, JLPT or the I forgot another name, but I assume that most of you like it will be you're gonna apply as an English medium. Okay. Application, very straightforward. We only have like two steps. Okay. Step one, online application. Everything can be done online. If you compare like the time when Leah, when she applied, oh, that's like all paperwork, but now everything's online. Okay. So it's very easy. It's super easy, and again, there will be 4 essay questions in your application. Spend time on it. Okay. Because coming to Japan, probably like for your age, would be the biggest decision you ever make, I would say like for you. So make sure you do a lot of research. For example, why Japan? Why APU? Because you don't want to spend like, so much time, energy, and money, and come to APU, and then you find out, oh, this is not the school what I'm looking for. So make sure you do your research and how to understand or find out more about APU. I know you guys don't like to read the application handbook. Don't worry, like just go to YouTube. There's so many APU videos made by students or made by admissions office, and Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. My favorite social media now, TikTok. We just recently start the APU TikTok account, and just search the word APU. There's so many like the video you can come out, and I think it's very convenient for your generation to learn about our school. And please pay by credit card. Okay, it will be the easiest and the cheapest to pay by credit card. For credit card, it would be about like $50 US. And if you pay by bank, like if you wire the money to the bank, like usually your local bank, they would put a subcharge on it. So it's about like 65 US. So if you have a credit card or you can use your parents' credit card, please use it. It's the cheapest. And after you finish your application, after you submit it, then you will have to do a new thing, which Leah didn't do it, like online assessment.
I did that for graduate school, actually.
Oh, I forgot. Hey, tell us about that.
Okay, so the online assessment was basically a video interview at first, which had random questions pop up. And I think it was mainly based on my application and like different things. And you had like a few seconds to prepare yourself, and then you would speak and it was recorded, and then it would go to the next question. And then afterwards there was the core ability test. I definitely remember. And it was basically just like questions asking about your like way of reason, I guess. So you'd like, they have like a math question or something, and if you look closely, you could like find the answer, and it wasn't like about solving it, but it was just about finding the pattern and stuff like that. So it's very doable. I'm not very good at math. I still got through it. I got in, so I would not be too worried about it. Just know why you're coming to APU, what you want to accomplish in future, and you should be fine.
Thank you so much, Leah. That's like one thing, like the questions, they are not difficult. There'll be 3 parts, like Leah said. Like first part would be an online interview. The only difference for undergraduate would be if you applying for scholarship, okay, the first part would be very short. It's only like 5 minutes, basically just like identity, like security check to make sure you're the right person. But if you are not going to apply for scholarship, that would be same as Leah. Like there will be an online like interview. You're going to answer about like 10 questions in front of the camera. And the second part, like Leah just mentioned, like it'll be a critical thinking, multiple choices. And the third part will be the core ability. Those questions, they are not difficult, but if you have never done this kind of like critical thinking, logical exams, it can be very tricky for some student. some students even think, what's that mean? What they asking for? So, but don't worry, we understand that. So on our website, admissions website, we provide a lot of the sample questions. So make sure you go to our website and practice a little bit.
They
Did you
do help.
practice?
They help.
Did you practice?
I did.
Oh, okay. That's
It
very
came up
good.
in my application and I was like, I think I'll better go through that before I
Yes,
actually do the real thing.
that's a very good decision because I find out some student, like if they didn't practice, they were a little bit surprised. They couldn't even understand what the question is asking about. So make sure you go to the website and practice a little bit. And again, it's free, and just like maybe 30 minutes. And once you pass online assessment, okay, you will be an online interview. You will be interviewed by very nice two people from my office. Maybe me, maybe not. I don't know. But we do not, unlike other school in Japan, we do not have a set of questions what to ask. Seriously, like we're just looking at your application and try to find out a little bit more about you, as an individual. And also the interview will be usually 20 to 30 minutes long. You don't have to come to Japan, okay? It will be done by Zoom or maybe other like platform. And there will be no dress code. But of course, it would be nice if you can dress nicely. Definitely not in pajama, okay, or naked. Please don't do it. Okay, tank top, no. Okay, and make sure you are in a very quiet room or space, and also stable Wi-Fi is very important. And I know all the students asking how to prepare, what kind of question we're gonna ask. Again, I don't know what kind of question the interviewer going to ask you, but I can guarantee you one thing is it's not just APU interview. From now on, like all your interviews, like your job, your internship, they're gonna ask you why us, So for example, like we're gonna ask you probably like why APU, why APM or APS. So you cannot just say, oh, because AP is a good school. Of course you can say it, but you won't get much point from there. So make sure do your research and tell us a little bit why you really want to come to APU, why you really want to study APS. That's very important. And also interview what to prepare. Again, follow us. I think it's very good idea. Like if you follow us on the Instagram or the social media, so you know what's going on, what's happening on campus, So please prepare for it. And Leah, do you have anything to add on for the application or?
Remember what you wrote in your application is
Oh.
probably the best thing. If you think about the interview, when I was applying for undergrad, I was definitely asked about what I wrote in my application. And I'm glad I reread that before I actually.
Hey, Leah, that's a really good advice. Okay, listen to me, all of you. Don't ask someone else to write the essay for you. Okay, it happened. We're gonna fail you because when we ask you if you cannot answer, then we find, oh, this is not you, So make sure you write all the essay by yourself. Leah, that's a very good advice. Okay, and before the interview, review what you have written. Okay, it helps. And also, I think that's it for application deadline. Okay, we have a different application period. Okay, for spring, April 2022, the official application has been closed already, but due to the COVID pandemic, we decide to open up an additional application period, which we start from November 18th to November 30th, right here. Okay, this is for spring, April 2022. Okay, and for September, I believe most of you will apply for September. Application period start from September 1st, which is already started, and all the way to March 23rd next year. And currently, I believe we are in application batch 3, I guess. I remember, sorry. Please go to our website to get more like information. So again, if you're applying for September, the application period will be from September 1st all the way to March 23rd, 2022. Okay.
And Leon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I personally, I applied when I first applied for undergrad, I applied in December, so in the middle of the application. And I know a lot of people applied after me and they got in. And even for grad school, I applied in the last segment and I got in. So I wouldn't be too worried about the timing that you're coming in.
That's a very good question, because some students, of course, scholarship is like first come, first serve, of course, but we won't just like accept the student because we don't have enough student. No. So basically we already have all the standard and all the scholarships like equally, like how to say, allocated to all different application period. Okay. So I personally suggest all the student, when you apply, make sure you're ready instead of like rushing to apply. Just like Leah said, like she applied for maybe very last minute, but because we already like have the space and scholarship for this application period, so we treat all the applicant equally. Doesn't matter like they apply like earlier or later, but of course like first come first serve, but just I would say really minor effect. So make sure you're ready to apply when you apply. Okay. And anything else I want to add on? No, I think that's, I remember now. Okay. But we do have so many different application period. Okay. If you're residing in the foreign countries, China, Korea, Indonesia, Vietnam, India, 5, then you will have a different application period because, and also Taiwan, I'm sorry, because we do have overseas office. Okay. So go to admissions website, contact the local office, and usually we do have a slightly different application period. And also if you are in Japan, we do have a lot for international student applying residing in Japan. We do have a different application period. So for this timetable is only for general, okay, students. So COVID-19 is a big thing, like I want to kind of like show off a little bit what my school APU has done to the student. So currently like we are doing a hybrid, like on campus and in person classes. Leah, I'm sure you know the best about this. Can you share a little bit with us?
Okay, so APU's response to COVID-19 was very, very fast. So basically the semester that COVID basically started, all classes were moved online, and we're pretty much working through Zoom, I want to say 90% of the time. But from, I think last semester, actually more courses have started being hybrid style. So both over Zoom for all the international students and in class for the people that can come to campus. You're not forced to come to campus if you're feeling unsafe. It's open to you what you want to do. For me personally, I have like one class that's hybrid right now, and I've come in, I've looked around just to get to know my classmates, and it was very nice seeing everybody back after 2 years. And even with Zoom, if there's any like issues with your Wi-Fi or anything, APU is very quick to respond. I think even halfway, I think this year actually, APU provided vaccines for the students as well, if you wanted to take that. And I think it's just, APU is very concerned about COVID and how to do it. There's also a lot of support for students trying to come into Japan. Obviously now the borders currently are still mostly closed for people who don't have a visa, but they're starting to open again. So actually, if you apply for APU, there might be a chance that you can come in for your first semester. But maybe Leon can say more about that.
Leah, thank you so much. So 2 things. Actually, APU was the vaccination center. Okay. And in Japan, it's 100% free for all people. It doesn't matter, are you the student or are you the Japanese like passport holder? Doesn't matter. As long as you're a human being in Japan, you can get a free vaccination. What's it? Vaccinate shot. Okay. And luckily, AP is the vaccination center. So most first year student, they can just walk to the cafeteria and get the first or second doses, It's very convenient. And second thing about opening the gate, okay, it's not official yet, but like Leah said, probably they're gonna open the gate for new student visa. I'm very excited about it, and
Yes.
we are preparing all the paperwork to welcome all the students. And compared to last year, I would say there are already many students on campus.
Yes.
Right.
I actually went to campus on
I
Tuesday.
bump into you. Yeah.
Yeah, so we bumped into each other,
Yeah.
and there were so many students. I was so surprised because
Mm.
usually when I come to campus is on Wednesdays when most students are free.
Mhm.
So we don't have classes on Wednesday, but I happen to have my seminar on Wednesdays. So I went up and there was nobody, and I was like so sad. But then I went on Tuesday and there were so many
So
students.
many. Yeah.
The bus was like packed, and I was like,
Mm.
oh, it feels like I'm back
Yeah.
back to before. It was very nice. So
I forgot to mention one thing. You just remind me. We have a new bus terminal.
yes.
That's very nice. Okay, because like during the winter time, APU sometimes snow or raining. You have a shelter. And very important, inside the bus terminal, there's a convenience store.
Finally.
Finally, and everybody, like including the staff, like everybody's so happy about that. And you can have a Wi-Fi and the charger. Some students spend time to have a discussion over there. It's super nice. Please go to the YouTube made by my colleague. The video is very nice. I was so excited about that. And but it's a convenience store, but it's not open 24 hours for security reason, because we don't encourage students from AP house to go like and in the midnight. And
Yeah.
one thing I'm so proud of AP, okay, right here, 2020 hotel quarantine support. We provide the hotel for all the new students. At that time, only few schools in Japan did it. Now this year, APU are the only school in Japan university provide free hotel quarantine for the student. Okay, because there's a lot of money. If you consider how many new students we have per year, so this year the same thing. If you have to be quarantined in Japan, we provide all the hotel, but of course you have to pay for your meal. And also if you do the quarantine in Tokyo, for example, from Tokyo to Oita, the portion, the airplane ticket will be paid by you, but we provide all the transportation and also the hotel. And also when you arrive at the airport, we provide the arrival assistant, so you don't need to worry like, oh, where to go. Don't worry about it. We will have the people waiting at the gate. What's that called? When you over there too, so don't worry about it. And I
Yes,
think
it's actually really great because Japan is super strict with the quarantine right now. I actually came back to Japan in March, and I had a quarantine forever, and you can't even like use public transport systems. So especially if you come to Japan first, you might not know anybody here. It's all very confusing at the airport. So just having someone there and knowing that you don't have to worry about how you're going to get from point A to B is great. Yes, it's just great.
but very important things like for probably you guys, maybe next year if you still need to do the quarantine, it's like I always tell the student, hey, quarantine is not vacation, okay? So stay in your room, don't get out of the hotel, because if you got caught, go to somewhere, the public area, like during a quarantine period, there's a chance you're gonna get deported, like so don't do it. But here I think most of you have using a smartphone or the things like you can scan the Instagram or Facebook right here. Okay, so I think pretty much that's it for today. And from here, again, if you have any questions, email welcome@apu.ac.jp. I personally don't recommend you to call us because you have to pay for it, and also the website admissions.apu.ac.jp. So that would be probably the easiest way to if you have any questions or concern. So from here, I'm going to try to answer some questions. Okay, the first one, kindly tell me about scholarship program for bachelor degree, which I just we just did it. The biggest and the easiest scholarship before you enroll at APU is the APU tuition reduction scholarship. Okay, and you don't have to do any additional paperwork. Just check the box in the application, and you're gonna have an online interview. Okay, and scholarship comes from 30, 50, 65, 80, all the way to 100%, and it lasts for 4 years. Okay, so this one, I think I got it. And okay, does African students stand a chance in form of scholarship and award, most especially who are student, but like, of course, like all students, okay, all students stand, we treat all the students like fairly. So it doesn't matter what nationality are you. So of course, and if you have any questions about specific like scholarship and the thing, just email us at welcome@apu.ac.jp. Okay, how to take a double degree or student exchange? Is it available for Indonesia? Yeah. Okay, for dual degree and exchange program, it apply for all students, not just international. Okay, so all students for APU, you are qualified to do it, but of course you will have to apply for it. That would be an interview and also an essay, and you can get more information after you come to APU, and probably you will have to apply through academic office. Leah, did you do any exchange?
No, I didn't.
You didn't, but did you apply?
For the longer ones?
Yeah.
No, my friend did. He
your
wanted
friend.
to go to China, but then
Oh,
because of COVID,
yes.
he couldn't.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, because of COVID, didn't happen. So, and which Indonesian can? Oh, okay. So for this students, I assume that, do you mean like you are already a student at a Indonesian university and you want to do exchange to APU? Is that what you mean? I will really suggest you to contact our Indonesian office and directly, so it would be easier. Let me see if I have their email address. Give me 1 second here. Let me see. Oh, I do. So I'm gonna type in the Q&A box, okay? Okay, the next question. Have you ever seen someone who completely changed when they came to APU? Change, well, I mean, you mean the appearance or the personality, or like, can you, so Leah, have you seen anyone that completely change after maybe one semester become a different person? Is that what you mean, like completely change?
I wonder. I feel everybody kind of changes when they go to APU, just because you go in, you're fresh out of high school, you're pretty much like still a child, and you come out an adult. You're in your 20s by the time it's over. So like obviously you have changes, like personality wise, you kind of grow up as well. When you live by yourself. I wonder if you're thinking appearance wise, I think definitely a lot of APU students changed. You come in, you're like normal, and a lot of your classmates change their hair colors, and you change your hair colors.
Hey, I have a funny story to share here. Okay, talking about the hair colors. Okay, I understand that many like students, they couldn't dye their hair, like when they at home, probably because of parents. So after they come to APU, like first day, the hair color change. But please don't do it at the AP house. Okay.
Please don't.
So I saw so many complaints from the AP house staff because they need to clean up. So please, it's prohibited to dye your hair at the AP house, the shower room. Okay, don't do it. I know like you guys cannot wait to go special, but don't do it. Find some other places to do it. But I am not sure if that's what you're asking for. But if you can type in the Q&A a little bit more like what you really mean by change, then maybe Leah and I can answer it. So the next question, I want to study in Japan, but I don't think I can get the scholarship. Why? Why do you think you cannot get it? So is it possible to study there without scholarship? If you don't want a private scholarship, then you have to pay the the whole tuition, which is like 1.3, let's say in US dollars, about like 12,000 US dollars for the first year, and second, third, and fourth will be about 14,000 US dollars. Oh, I think maybe you're asking for, okay, for the numbers, the amount I just mentioned, that's for the tuition. And for the living cost, we usually advise student for living costs per year will be about 9,000 US dollars for a whole year per year for living costs, including your rent and your meal and all the things. Is Leah, what do you think? 9,000 per year, is that accurate?
Yes.
Yes.
If you budget correctly, it's definitely possible. Yes.
Okay, next question. Can the student who applied for April 2022 intake come to Japan in the mid? Yes. Like if you apply for April, probably you have to come maybe, the mid of March. But of course, it depends on the Japan government if they close the gate or not. But usually, Leah, do you remember how early did you come?
I enrolled in September. So I came to Japan at the end of August to travel, but I think entering AP House was mid-September. So basically the middle of the month before you
I see.
enter.
Yeah. So the AP House check-in day will be probably like mid of March, like Leah just like probably like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the semester start. And we do have a really in Japan, it's very orientation usually is long. Like Leah, you had like 2 weeks, right?
I had 2 weeks of orientation.
Okay.
But
So
I think that's like, it's so nice because when I listen to my friends from other universities, it seems like they don't really have that many orientations and then they're confused about where they're supposed to go or what they're supposed to do. But APU, everything's explained to you, you know exactly what's happening, you know exactly where you're supposed to go. So it's very comforting to know.
And I think it's very important, especially because you just moved to Japan. Many things you are not sure. That's why our orientation is a little bit like lengthy. Yeah. But now it's about 11 days, I remember, because online. So a little bit like shortened. But yes, I'm not quite sure when the border, to be honest, no one knows besides the Japan government.
Yeah, they open it up, they close it again.
Yeah. So that's what happened last year. They opened up like for 2 or 3 months. And suddenly because of COVID, what's that called? The third, what's Delta? I forgot the name.
Third wave, yeah.
Yeah, and then they close it immediately. And hopefully this time they will open forever, just back to normal. Okay, the next question. How about the cost of dual program? Again, for dual degree, you pay APU tuition only. Okay. If you are the APU student, you pay APU tuition. Same thing apply for the partner school. If their student do the dual degree with APU, then they pay their tuition. So same amount I just mentioned, 1.3 million for first year without any scholarship, 1.5 for the second, third, and fourth. Okay, next question. When I go to some forums to ask about APU, I see so many complaints about the quality of teachers. For example, the accent, the way they teach, even don't have enough teachers to open some classes. But I think no one is perfect. Like maybe some APU professor maybe have a heavy accent, but I personally believe there must be some way for you to communicate with your professor, and I think it's a very good learning experience for all the students, even for professors, to learn how to communicate with different people. Like Leah, do you have anything to add on for that?
Yeah, I think in regards to the courses not being available, I've personally experienced it where I was like, oh, I really want to take this class this semester, but it's not offered because that professor is offering a different class. So It really depends on what semester you're looking at. Sometimes one course will only be available in spring and not in fall. So it depends on that. And with the language, it's also like, I think a lot of APU students as well, there's people that you have to like kind of get used to the accent maybe. And it'll just help you later in life, I think. There's not everybody is like perfect at speaking English. So
yeah, and I'm sure like it's kind of unique things at APU.
Yeah, the PPTs are always like really easy to understand. So even if you're unsure about like what a specific word maybe have been, you can like read it on the PPT as well.
Yeah. So let's move on for the next question. Does the core ability test and wasn't the the critical thinking result determined? Definitely yes. The online assessment, everything like your online application, online assessment, interview, everything count to your evaluation. Okay. So please prepare for it. And sometimes if the student fail for online assessment, you won't even go to stage 2. There will be no interview because you already failed. So it's very important. Okay. I do not have any language test, but read on the application that certification from school is accepted. Is it okay? Yes. For example, if you are not a native like English speaker and you only want to submit an English evaluation proficiency form filled by a teacher, you can do it, but I don't recommend because it doesn't put any weight on your application. And if you are comfortable with your English, we highly recommend you to take a test. It's not that expensive and you can do it online. Okay. And another thing is like a lot of like external scholarship, they require the language proficiency exam score. So please do it. It doesn't do like, it's not that difficult. And it's very convenient. You can do it online. So please do it. I would strongly recommend you to do it. Okay, the next question, the scholarship by first come, first serve. Does that mean students who apply for scholarship in the last application segment do not have much chance to get 100%? No, it's not. Like, let me rephrase my sentence. So for example, for each application period, we already assigned how many in general, student, because we are very strict to the standard. Okay. For example, like first application period, if there's no student match the 100% qualification, we won't give the 80% to 100%. Usually we don't do it. Okay. So I would say like for each application period applicant, they will have a very fair or equal chance to get 100% or not. Does it make sense to you? I hope I answered that question. But of course, like sometimes, first, apply earlier, that would be a better chance. But when I say better chance, it's very, very slim. So again, like Leah just suggests, I personally suggest, don't rush. Make sure you're ready to apply. Okay. Because we are more looking for the quality instead of like the timing. First come, first serve is not like, oh, I'm the 30%. For example, I'm a 30% like scholarship student. If I apply for the first one, then I'm going to get 100% no. Okay, can we use TOEFL ITP? I'm sure it's IBT, right? ITP I never heard about. So I just want to make sure like that's the correct word. Give me 1 second. Yes, I'm so sorry. I never heard about ITP. So okay, we accept TOEFL IBT and TOEFL IBT home edition. So ITP, if you can email welcome@apu.ac.jp to make sure if you are eligible to use this exam. Okay, the next question, based of what the scholarship are provided, I have a standard ECA profile. I'm sorry, what's ECA profile? And would it increase my chance of my scholarship? Do you have any calculator where I can calculate my, no, there will be no calculator because of course this is like confidential. How do we evaluate the student? But again, we look for everything. you know, I'm not sure what ECA stands for, but for example, if your academic, the grade is like certain, like A student, you're gonna get certain percentage. And for all of you, I recommend just make sure like you do everything well. Like for example, like spend more time on, because your academic grade is not really something you can do it now. Okay, if you have a little bit low academic, like the high school, the grade, so make sure you ace on your online assessment. You spend time to write your essay, very impressive essay, and ace in your interview. Okay, because I do have students, maybe their high school grade is not super ideal, but they did everything in other area, and they still got like very decent like scholarship. So make sure do what you can do now, and don't just like give up like the things. And online interview is very important, and it's very doable if you prepare for it. Okay, for the 2022-23 academic year, what is APU's plan on in-person class? We don't know. Like, to be honest, no one knows what, like the COVID pandemic, would it be just gone, for next year? We don't know. But at this moment, for example, like the September 4, 2021 student, we are expecting all the students to come on campus. We're preparing for that if Japan open the gate. But again, for APU, nothing more important than the safety of students. So if we're going to do it in person, we're going to make sure like it's safe, Then if we make sure everything is safe, of course, we're going to open up the campus for all the students. When you live off campus in the second years onward, how do students get to campus for classes? By bus, okay? And how do you get back to town? By bus. And Leah, please share with your experience with the bus.
I don't know if I want to share.
Like, tell the truth. Yeah.
It's a windy road up the mountain, but yeah.
How much is a bus ticket? Do you?
Okay, so from where I live, which is the closest train station to the campus, I think up the mountain is about 230 yen, if I'm correct. I might be wrong, but it's very easy to go up. And then there's also yearly bus passes, and APU has like this contract with the bus company that basically you pay only half of what the ticket would actually cost. So in my case where I live, I think the bus ticket up to campus for a year is about 60,000 yen, which is like $580, $550, something like that. It's kind of a lot, but if you think for the whole year, it's not that much. And if you go up every single day.
And please don't have any high expectation about a bus service, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you. The bus a little bit, but well, I shouldn't say that, but I know if you really like hiking, you can walk, or the public is not
take a
doable.
while.
But that's one student here to graduate. Sometimes I saw him riding the bike.
Oh, that was my friend actually.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Like, how did he do it? But please take the bus.
Yeah, please take the bus or a bike.
Or the bike.
A motorbike.
And please make sure, like during the winter time, maybe the road become a little bit sleepy. So make sure your safety.
Yes, please be safe.
Yeah. And the next question: if there any chance for me who got 5.5 in IELTS test, if you got 5.5, don't apply because you're gonna fail. Okay. So spend your time to work on your English and at least get 6.0 because it's a minimum. Okay, 6.0 is a minimum. If you only got 5.5, you won't be accepted. So that would be no like luck or anything. Make sure you pass the minimum. You mentioned a new college for hospitality and tourism in 2023. If I plan on enrolling in the program September, would there be any difficult? No, basically, I don't know the whole transaction, but for example, if you come to APU 2022 as an APS hospitality major, then you would be the same until you graduate. But for that question, maybe you can wait a little bit, 2 more weeks. So we will have more clear pictures about exactly what the new college and the information. Oh, for this student, please email welcome@apu.ac.jp. Okay. And we only got 1 more minute. I'm going to answer maybe 1 more questions. And if you have any other question, we do have a webinar every Friday, the same time. And also you can always email us at welcome@apu.ac.jp. Leah, sorry, I'm going to answer 1 more question.
Yes.
For the transcript, is it fine if I just send the last 2 years? No, we need 3 years. Okay, I understand that maybe you have not graduated yet, so you don't have the 3rd years. That's okay. Send us the 2 years first, and after you finish your final exam, you got your final transcript, send it to us. Okay, but when you come to APU, by the time you enroll at APU, we need 3 years. And most school, maybe they have expected your final grade. You can also submit it. Okay, but eventually we will need 3 years of your high school transcript. Okay, I think that's it for today. Leah, do you have any things to say? And
I hope you guys apply to APU. That's like my main point, really. It's a really fun university. I really enjoyed my 4 years here. And I don't know, if you're interested in Japan, if you want to learn Japanese, or if you're just not sure where you want to go with your degree, come to APU. There's a lot of stuff you can do after graduating as well. So.
Okay, thank you so much, Leah. And again, all of you, thank you so much for joining me and Leah today. And I hope I answered most of your questions. But if not, join our next webinar or just email us. That would be the quickest way to find out the answer. Okay, thank you so much and have a good night. Thank you so much, Leah.
Thank you. Thank you, Leon.